Okay, dear Venerable Sisters and Dhamma friends, today also we are going to start the question and answer session. As usual, we'll start with the written questions and see whether there are any other further questions to the audience. We'll invite Lakshmi to present the written questions, please.
Thank you, Venerable Sir. We have a total of 8 people who have written questions, or 8 participants who have written questions. 3 of the questions are on sitting meditation. 3 are on both sitting and walking. 1 is on day-to-day activities. And 1 we have to reject, Venerable Sir, because it does not meet your standards. So please come and talk to me about it. Please do come, okay? Then, Venerable Sir, there is a 9th question which is in the box, which was put in probably momentarily before we came back into the hall, so we haven't had a chance to look at it. We'll take it up tomorrow.
Yes.
The first sitting meditation question. Avasarai Swamin Wahansa. Sitting meditation on the breath. While concentrating on the breath, I notice I know the in-breath and out-breath in following order. Long and rough became short and rough, then turned to long and subtle, then short and subtle, then cannot understand or differentiate in-breath and out-breath, as both look the same, and can see something like sound. And can see something like sound is playing.
Sound is?
Sound is playing.
Pain.
P-L-A-Y-I-N-G. Playing.
Sound is?
Playing. You can hear like maybe music, I don't know. Sound is playing. And air is not felt as going in or out. Then the breath becomes very fast and disappears. By this time, it is about 1 hour of sitting, and back pain does not allow me to sit longer. But I don't feel bored or upset, because I can see the progress compared to history. I am trying to sit for longer with metta.
Yeah, that the early part of the essay, to be more streamlined, to be more systematic, object, how did you note, what did you construe? For example, I noted in-breath, noted as in-breath, it appeared rough and long. I noted that out-breath appeared, I noted as out-breath, it is rough and short. And while I am keeping on, in-breath appeared, I noted as in-breath, it is long and smooth. And out-breath appeared, I noted as out-breath, and it is short and smooth. This is the way, if you are putting, very systematic. Of course, it is a kind of a just mere presentation. And then, objective mention. So I think in-breath and out-breath, this is, I am talking about the in-breath. And what is your labeling? What is your vitakka? I noted it as in-breath. And what did you come to know? I know I observed or I experienced long, rough sensation. And then 100% marks. Here the information are there, but the presentation, there are some further refinements necessary. And when it is going there further, you can see more and more you keep the in-breath and out-breath in view with, it becomes subtler and subtler, and then they are merging each other, the difference or delimitation disappears. So this is the transition period. Once it is disappeared, the taste of the object, the experience of the object, the sap of the object the discretion disappears. You know the breath, but you don't know whether in-breath or out-breath. That's the point. Knowing also becoming invalid. Earlier the knowing is there, in-breath is not out-breath is not in-breath. This is discrete. But more you associate, they change. They merge each other, and you know it is the breath, but hardly you can see any line to see this is in-breath, this is out-breath. So this is not a mistake. This is something can happen. That's the point. Not only the noting, even the knowing is unnecessary, because both are the air element. Knowledge about this is in-breath, not out-breath, this is out-breath, not in-breath, like disappears. So these two steps, vitakka, disappearing of the vitakka, vichara, disappearing of the vichara, is the way making our grammar in our life, not the grammar in our language. So if you explain something like this with respect to this kind of presentation, communication is superconductivity. Short and sweet. So therefore, if you don't mind, please, when you write again, and write it into this order. The object, how did you know, and what did you comes to know. In-breath, out-breath, and see chronologically what is happening. It will be a classic statement. The best, world best essay on the earth. Because no nonsense. Anything you are, not putting in the order, if you are not giving particular information, or if you are going to give a value judgment, then the communication, it gets blocked. So when the in-breath and out-breath, when they merge each other, you never see the noting object and the noted mind, noting mind and the noted object also merging. You see only the merging or hugging of the in-breath and out-breath, or rising and falling, or left leg and the right leg. So if you let it allow, without doubt, without a fear, or without boredom, or without sleepiness, without the uncertainty, you see when they are merging each other, the third aspect, the noting mind also come immediately with, diligent but vigilance. Vigilance increases and you feel like electric. You feel now your mind also involved in like in-breath and out-breath, rising and falling, or air elements like that. They are merging each other, then onward you put autopiloting. You never put it to autopiloting because of the doubt, because of the uncertainty, because of the fear, because of the sleepiness, because of the boredom. So they are the one happening at that time, so you must go prepared. They are all but hatred. All these facets are hatred. So you have to be very lovingly, that means ready to welcome it, that is called prepared, we call. That is how the Girl Guide and the Boy Scout starts. Go prepared. So they are the Buddha and the Sabayan Powell is equal. So that's why we are trying our possibilities to see Satipasala and the scouting together. Very easily they can come together. Go prepared. We are not born with that tradition. Always we doubt the truth. Always we feel bored when the truth comes. And we have the fear for the truth. So therefore that fear, the boredom is a kind of a hint, kind of a precursor to see, are you a radical person, reflect radically and dash through. I am not asking you to dashing through and go and kill someone. I am not asking to dash through and do robbing. I am not telling you to dash through and have sexual intercourse, misconduct, or lying, or slandering. I am telling, whenever something verifiable under your very nose, you must have that attitude. Otherwise, the situation will be waiting till your maturity comes, till your correct view happens. So, but the thing is, even if you're wrong, if you have not done the proper thing, you will get 1001 opportunities in time to come. So that's the beauty in the Pratipada or the order. It will come again and again, till you hit the real thing. Moment you hit it, electric. Because it is waiting for you to hit. You don't hit because you don't have saddha. You don't have faith. You are entertaining instead doubt. Doubt is opposite of saddha. This is not the saddha what I am talking about, this the superficial saddha. This is something committed responsibility, because you are experiencing it again and again. Your history, your memory indicates, yes, yesterday also I came up to that level, today also coming, and what about dashing through? Moment you dash, you are the first person to experience, it is such an electric thing. So this is a kind of a preparation. So next time also go prepared. Whenever you make doubts, whenever you have fear, whenever you have uncertainty, lot of bodily jerks, mental jerks. It is mentioned in the Patisambhida Magga, that is the book of discrimination, path of discrimination, is sometimes considered as a canonical. It says, whenever you are focusing the attention on the breath, and if the mind is going to wander to the past or future or any other seeing object and hearing objects, you will get injati, spandati, kampati, chalati. You get shakes, vibrations, jerks, can happen. In a bigger grade or lower grade. Because you are in a tightrope walking. If someone is stuck on the rope, you get the jerk. Because everything is now calibrated, everything is aligned. You are just balancing on the tightrope. If someone is hitting on the rope, that is what happened in the web. In the spiders, they fix the web and wait. If something come and hit, spider know whether it is a living animal or something, a prey or big jerk or something to flight or fight. It know by the vibration. So likewise, this is a kind of a whole body experience, whole mind experience, whole life experience, and therefore it is threatening. It is kind of a challenging. It's a kind of a evolution. It's a kind of a shedding of your old skin. So it is electric. I would say more and more you do it, you become rejuvenated. This experience is leading up to the RNA, DNA and chromosomes, and the cap of the chromosome also reconsidered if you are spontaneous, if you are impromptu, if you are electric, that's a completely new thing happened in your brain. And then brain circuits, that is called neurobics. New neurobics are going to start. That is how you become, how do you call, rejuvenated, otherwise senility. You get crushed through the time machine. Can't help. If you know that, then and there, you can crack it and go through it. But don't do it till the meditation come up to that level. Till that you have to do vitakka vichara and make the alignment. When the alignment happens, just let it happen. So this son also, this person who has written also, of course, presentation please do refine, and then go prepared, and frog jump into the old pond, plop. We'll go to the next question.
The autopiloting, is it knowing without noting, or both knowing and noting with, taking away autopiloting?
You have to raise the question. Please repeat the question, please.
So autopiloting, does it mean to say knowing without noting, or both without noting and knowing?
Can be. First of all, you have to be a pilot. When you are on the car, you can't do autopiloting. Autopiloting happens when the plane take at least 100 meters above and get the aerodynamics. Then only the pilot get the authority to put into the autopiloting. till that pilot is responsible. So you have to make sure plane is up there, off the ground, and 100 meters up. Then you can do. So therefore background is somewhat you have to be careful. Somewhat you have to be aware. So your question is technical side. When there is a noting and knowing, no autopiloting. When there is no noting but knowing, possibility for autopiloting. When there is no noting and no knowing, definitely you are, whether you like it or not, you are in autopilot. That's why she told that whether it is a dementia. Is it something you don't know? Already you are in autopilot. Whether even in dementia or you are enlightened, you are in autopilot. Or Parkinson. Or short memory blank. Or you have to get the shock treatment. That is autopilot. There is no choice. But when without noting, knowing happens, then you have the maneuverance. You have the choice little bit. Shall I go for autopiloting or not?
But how do we know whether to go for it or not?
How do
we know whether to go for it or not? How to
no
try?
noting, but knowing happens.
Yeah.
No, without noting, if the knowing happens, that means an invitation for you to go for autopiloting mode. Understand?
Yeah.
It is your words. You are the person. I raised the question using these two terms.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So you are not invited to ask questions now. You go and sit. Isn't it? So I would have given chance after the questions, our question, isn't it? What do you say?
Is it your question?
No, she already jumped and asked questions. So it is a challenge to the retreat organizer. Okay, never mind. We'll go to the next question.
The second question on sitting meditation on the breath. When engaging in the Anapanasati breath meditation, I noted a few distractions and disturbances as well as some other issues. After a considerable amount of time meditating, I noticed that my mind tends to go back to the past and the future and gives me images of things I like. Also, I am only able to concentrate for a short amount of time, after which my mind starts getting irritated and my body feels uncomfortable. At this point, I cannot concentrate further. So this makes me stop meditating. I would appreciate if I could be given some advice on combating these issues.
No, that if I am to take one sentence that you feel bodily uncomfortable, you feel get up and go. Are you mindful at that time or not? That if the person can give little more information, easily we can arrive at a decision. Do you get my question?
Can you repeat it, please?
You have mentioned in the essay, telling towards the latter part of your essay, there was a situation you feel physically uncomfortable and then you can't continue, you get up and go. So when you are feeling that physical uncomfortability, are you mindful at that time or you are without mindfulness?
I'm mindful at that time and then I feel uncomfortable.
So there you make the complaint, my concentration broken. So therefore definitely you have to forego the concentration to maintain mindfulness. So discreetly differentiate, this is mindfulness, this is concentration. When the mindfulness continues, concentration sets in. There are situations, no concentration but the mindfulness. And that is the part yogi must select or you must go prepared, that you have to promote. Otherwise, mind will never take new options. It will always have addiction to concentration.
Okay.
So therefore, there are a few sentences very nicely written, and each and everyone confirm you are mindful, but you are worrying so much, thinking I am not concentrated. So therefore, that worry is unwanted, unasked for. In basic instruction, we have never mentioned, unless otherwise in the Dhamma talks, the concentration. It's an addiction. It's a kind of a hobby. It's not the hobby, habit of the meditators. We are always talking about concentration. So instead, I put mindfulness.
Okay.
So often the term meditation have a illegal relationship with this concentration.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of unmarried love. So I try to keep them separate. Don't talk meditation, don't talk concentration, be aware of the mindfulness, and you can see even the concentration is there, even you are not meditating, but you are still mindful. And that's a radical moment.
Okay.
That thought moment, if you can write, you have ever avoided that. But I am asking right about that. I am utterly scattered. I can't sit and meditate, but I am fully aware, fully mindful. And this is a kind of a thing we have to acquainted with. Soon you try to avoid it, it will go by multiplication. So moment you accept it, that's a life.
Okay.
Then onward, meditation means 24 hours. Whatever the mood, whatever the posture, whatever the object, whatever the lack of concentration, you know and appreciate it. Then the mindfulness will be your best friend, most frequently acquainted one, just like a walking stick when you are doing hiking.
Yeah.
So much so, as far as you are with the mindfulness, write positively your essay based upon the mindfulness. Moment you go for meditation, moment you think about concentration, it's an utter failure. So have an appointment with the disappointment. No disappointment. So mindfulness is utter disappointment.
Okay.
Utter disappointment, so it is something novelty. Whatever thing happen, we try to look through the mindfulness. And whatever the good or bad, whatever the just or unjust, you know you can, mindfulness is still valid. So therefore mindfulness it's omnipresent. Wherever you go, you can be mindful, irrespective of the posture, irrespective of your concentration, irrespective of your object. That mindfulness, whether you like it or not, it's a birthright.
Okay.
Buddha mentioned the Sattadipateya Sabbe Dhamma. Whatever the thing happen, whether you appreciate or not, mindfulness is in the surveillance. Only thing is you have to recognize it, you have to appreciate it, then you are naturally religious. When you are naturally spiritual, only thing is we don't appreciate it. So appreciate mentally and prove it by noting and knowing. And there may be a situation where no concentration, but you are mindful about. Okay,
yeah,
we'll go to the next.
Okay, thank you.
The third question on sitting meditation. Venerable Bhante, my profound gratitude to you for the excellent guidance and advice and for the opportunity to share our experiences with you. During sitting meditation last night, I followed your suggestion and switched onto autopilot. Immediately I found the breath becoming subtle, and then it became totally imperceptible. I remained like that for the entire duration. I could have remained longer, but had to stop when someone switched off the fans. During the imperceptible stage, I was able to describe what was going on and also stop occasionally and take a long breath and cough. This did not disturb the imperceptible stage, as I was able to return to it again and again. Yesterday I tried to return to the imperceptible stage, but it did not happen. However, I experienced moments of profound calmness and awareness. Later, my pain and drowsiness and wandering mind, which had earlier receded to the background, returned, but with less vigor. Metta.
So that's also a very important observation. Definitely these bad friends, again and again they appear. They never go away. But whenever they come back, if you are with confidence, if you are prepared mind, their strength is reducing. Repetitive application, but each time they come and peep, you can see they do their task, they do their duty, but they become weaker and weaker. So your confidence increasing, your personality increasing, because you go prepared. So that is a kind of thing. And the other one is this, they use the term unperceivable state, but I would say the mindfulness or wakeness or awareness of that unperceivable the state is the base for any drawing, that is the background. Whenever there are no objects or there are the see-through, that is there. If the objects take interest, you can't see the background. So that is what happened in our sensuous world. Whenever you connected with your senses, you see objects. Visual objects, sounds, whatever. Then you think these objects are just like a wall you can't see through because you love it, because you appreciate it. But anything, the visual, sound and kind of thing, you can see through. That is what we do meditation. And when you are seeing through, you see unperceivable, imperceptible background. You can't call it a background also. And it's always there. But you must have the penetrating, the see-through understanding. That is what you call vipassana. Everywhere it is there. If you are going to look at it, it will never appear. Whatever appearing, just see, just note. And they will disappear, and then you go further. And again thing will happen, again observe. And ultimately you go in there, landed in this nowhere. And that is a birthright. It is not something earned through meditation. The nice example the Buddha gives is, in a deep sea, the Buddha says uppermost layer is always with the frills and waves and kind of thing due to the air movement. The utter bottom of it, because of the big fish, Timingala, Pingala, so nowadays we can say whales and kind of the big waves happening. But in the middle of the sea, deep sea, never change. So when we are explaining the sea, if you are explaining the topmost and the bottommost, that you are talking with agitated mind, so you only can see agitation. But if you are trained enough to see how to focus in the middle, never change. That your mind also not changing, essay also not disturbing, sea itself also not disturbing. So which one you look at? That the range is there all the time. So it is nothing to earn something, it's a matter of focusing. Where are you look at? What you see, that you are. If you see something calm and quiet, that means your mind is calm and quiet. If you see something very erratic, your mind is very erratic. If you are with something hateful, that your mind is full of hateful. So therefore don't worry about what you see. It's a clear indication who you are. What you see, that you are. So when you are doing vipassana, you can understand what the people are talking about, what bullshit, what nonsense they are talking. But they are exposing themselves. The way they write, the subject they take, how much emphasis they do, so you can't hide it, because what you are talking indicates who you are. I am not telling that not to mention in the question and answer. We have to discuss it and we have to rectify it. But see, when you are writing a novel, when you are writing a love letter, when you are writing, what a kind of thing. And ultimately, we attribute to the other party telling it is erratic, or it is hateful, or it is calm down. The Buddha says, please, be mindful and mind your own business. Don't attribute to the outside, because there are some Buddha. They can see. Everyone is not blind like the Putujana. So when you are exposing, when you are writing, when you are talking, each and everything, you yourself can see through the mechanism, what are you talking about? What are you going to emphasize it? Because that calm mind is always there. But you must know how to do away with these agitations and see through. And it is there. It's a birthright. Only the mindfulness is making possibility, making it possibility. Otherwise it appears like an impossibility, because people say, yes, my mind is dragged off by this distraction, that distraction, because they are looking very short-sighted. They don't know, see through. And partly because your meditation, you take the concentration as the final aim, then yes, that is true. But if you are taking vipassana or insight, it's always teaching, always let you know how to see through the object. And behind, you see this calm, the background that's unperceptible. And scientists, they now hit with that. They say this is the Hebron particle, Gibson particle. It is not moving. It's a source of everything, but it is not me and not me division. It's there. Out of that only everything is happening. So therefore what is happening, if you can see through behind there, this particle is there. Once you see, you can't avoid it in future. So it will be more frequently happening. And either you can see what it's going to show or reflecting, and you can see through and see the calmness wherever necessary. But there's a jolly good mood to get entangled with this dirty thing also. Not only the calmness. Calmness have no value if you are not getting entangled with this dirty thing. It's a relative. So once in a way, you get entangled with these visual objects, and whenever you see through it, and you can see the unperceptible is never born, never aging, never going down. It is not belongs to the time and space, it is there. So find a way, when you are sad, when you are happy, when you are painful, when you are pleasurable, when you are with primary object, you are not with primary object, all the time try to see this imperceptible, and the day you become enlightened, you will understand it's a birthright. It was nothing to earn, but you are sorry enough, entangled with this other, the minuous things, the projections, or holographic things, and you see, you don't know the see-through. Shall we?
The next question is on sitting and walking, and it is from a total beginner seeking advice. When starting sitting mindfulness, always my natural breathing stops. Thus, gave up concentration on breath and sat with, now here I am. After a while, feel calm, but fully aware. Feel body leaning forward, backward, sideways. When in extreme position, automatically adjusts the posture. Is this normal? Is something wrong? When walking, it was hard to think of left and right initially. Now can easily do it, but the moment left-right go smoothly, natural breathing rhythm stops, so always panting for breath. How can I stop this breathing problem? With metta.
Yeah, if that is the question, you are talking about the walking meditation, walking mode, and the breath is happening, isn't it?
May I read it again?
You are walking and the breath is happening. That is what the situation.
There is a problem both with sitting and with walking, okay? So in walking, it was hard to think of left and right initially. Now can easily do it, but the moment left-right goes smoothly, natural breathing rhythm stops.
Stops.
Correct. So always panting for breath.
No, therefore, natural breathing stops or panting, it is none of your business. You know you are walking. This is a walking posture. So with the panting happen, or natural breathing happen, or natural breathing stops, can you still be aware that I am not sitting, that I am not standing, not that I am lying down? Are you aware that you are walking? That I am asking from the person who has written the statement.
Yes, I am aware.
So then don't worry about whether you are panting or whether you are force breathing or whether breath is unperceptible. Let that be there because your main thing is happening.
Now last night when I started to sleep also, once again I have stopped breathing normally. I tried to be conscious of that I'm lying down, I'm here.
Yeah.
It went for a while and once again I'm breathless.
Restless.
Breathless.
But restlessness also something just like the breath you have to understand. Under your very nose. You can't imagine the restlessness as understand.
No, breathless. I'm breathless. Breathless.
Reckless.
Breathless.
So that is also, it's a happening. So when it is happening, if you are aware, if you are mindful, that's all you can do. Do you think that you need saline or oxygen?
No.
We can bring it, no problem. That's the way we think. We think that the normal person, this much of pulse, this much of pressure, this much of blood sugar, this much of bullshit, nonsense. These are all lies. It depends on the person to person. There are some people very low breathing level, but still they are happy, they can live. But the doctor get fainted. Because I had the hole in the heart. So I used to go to once in three months to the doctor. And I am being an experiment. A lot of medical students come. And the professor comes and says, they ask me to lie down. So I can have a very nice nap. They check everything, ask 1,000 questions. Do you get swellings in the knees? Are you panting? My father is laughing. Because I am such a rascal. No panting, no pains. But luckily enough, they never recommended the surgery or medicine. Observe for longer time. And my normal pulse, you see, very low. But any two people can come, I can work with 2 people. Any work. So therefore, that miraculous thing in our brain as well as in our body, we don't know. So in the meditation, this is of course not happening. This is appear like happening, no breath. So let it go. But as far as you know, it's happening under the light of mindfulness. Am I correct? Then we both are in the same side. Let anything happen. No problem. If you need oxygen, I can organize it. Or any saline or kind of thing, we can do it. We never know this body. It has so miraculous thing. It has a lot of neurobics. The neurobical shortcuts are there. We never use because we are in a rut. We are utterly in a rut. Only the children can live in their own way. They don't care whether they are wearing something or not. Whether they are shitting or urinating or vomiting, no problem. And when we become elderly, what will happen? So much of fussy. So therefore, let that happen. That is called the noble quest. Arya Pariyesana. The Buddha says, go little by little, daily, and ultimately it is developing your immunity, the tolerance, enormous. Is the question answered? Or okay, we'll go to the next.
The next question is also on sitting and walking, Venerable Sir. Venerable Bhante, after yesterday's Dhamma talk, I tried noticing without noting in both sitting and walking.
So first of all I say, don't try. It is something happening. If you are going to try, you have to give helmets to the people right round. When you are riding a bike, you have to wear a helmet. But if you do not know how to ride, then you have to give the helmets to the passengers or the pedestrians. So don't do it. I am telling it, when it is happening, let it happen. Go prepared. Sorry, I am disturbing.
It's okay. Sitting. Primary object. Breathing in and out. I noticed and was able to differentiate between breathing in and out, but did not label it, and found this more focused and interesting. It may be because mind is new to notice without noting.
Knowing without noting.
To knowing without noting.
Now, if you are using the proper terminology, you have to say, you know, without noting.
Also, I noticed there is no particular pinpointed place prominent in the nostril, but I was able to see it in the middle of the face. Walking. Primary object. Movement of legs. I noticed the movement below the knees was sharply lifting, moving, dropping, but did not label them. Sometimes the sensations of the soles. However, after a few steps, I realized mind had wandered with thoughts, and I brought back to the primary object. Word of appreciation. I find that your Dhamma talks are very interesting and useful to proceed in this path, because earlier I disliked even a minute of listening to Dhamma talks in general, because they were too complicated to understand. Much merit, and may you have all strength and health to expand and give this message of the Buddha to the whole world. Thank you.
But anyway, I thought of taking to the court. I don't know whether the person appreciates anonymity or because the last sentence it says, from the thoughts, the mind come back to the primary object. Can you repeat the sentence?
However, after a few steps, I realized mind had wandered with thoughts, and I brought it back to the primary object.
So I'd like to have some kind of a little further details about this step way back home from thoughts. If a particular person So my question is, you report after a while your mind is in wandering thoughts and then come back and land into the primary object. Okay?
Yeah.
So can you give little further elucidation and event like or episode like changes, experience, anything if you can add into that?
So while walking, some song comes to my mind and I think about it. And after a few steps I realize I'm thinking about the song. And then I come back to the steps. I put mindfulness to the steps.
Is it something happened to you or something you did?
Something happened.
So
just like that, some thoughts are coming always.
Yeah. So is it a good thing or bad thing? Automatically you come back to your back home, back to the mindfulness. Do you think it's as a gift or as a disturbance?
I don't mind it just saying, Because so with the thoughts are coming, so I'm like, I'm thinking, and I'm listening to this song. I shouldn't be doing it, and I'm bringing my mind back to the object.
I will put it in a different way so that I hope you can give the answer. When you are in mindfulness, for example, in breath and out breath, all of a sudden, without any prior notice, mind goes to the thinking. It's one episode.
Yeah.
And while you are in the thinking, all of a sudden, you comes to know this is none of my business, I am thinking, what is this? And again you come back, landing in the mindfulness. So, two events, going out and coming back.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
So, going back you consider as a good or bad? Or going to the thinking, going to the wandering is good or bad?
Bad, maybe.
Huh?
Maybe bad, I don't know.
You have no value judgment. And then from the thoughts to coming back to the mindfulness or to your primary object, it's good or bad?
Good.
So that means indicating going out is bad. That is what the meditation world is. Imagine if it is not going out, how the good thing can happen? Coming back. So only we report the bad thing. We never report, we never observe. Whenever it go, it has to come back. Otherwise, how the hell you can write the essay continuously? We never report on that. So you have reported. That's why I wanted to have. Whenever mind is you are practicing, that's a kind of a moral shame and a moral fear, or healthy shame and the healthy fear. You comes to know I am not in my domain. I am thinking. Immediately, no time gap, it come back to the primary object. That is not happening for the non-meditators, those who do not know mindfulness. They never reported because they are none of their business. But when you are practicing continuously, you see as and when you go out, there's another way back home. We never noticed it. Because whenever you know, I am not in my domain. If you are not a person meditating, you don't know where to bring it back. What is my home? What is my domain? You don't know. But in practicing by trial and error mistakes, one day you will know. When and where I am with the breath, I am at home. That is my oasis. That is my father's property. So when that happens, more you go out, each and every time is a challengeful event for you to come back, find a way back home. And if you can give more and more information about way back home, something like that, the awareness that I am in the wrong place is not mine. I am thinking, all of a sudden I come to know I am not in my primary object, but I am thinking. Okay? At that time we say we are not mindful. But there is a kind of mindfulness to say something wrong somewhere. And then you know I am in thought. Not a sound, not a pain. That means you know. And immediately you know, now my job is to come back home. And that also you know. I am an in-breath and out-breath meditator. I am not a rising and falling. I am not left and right. And then it comes back. And when you come back, can you say, is the in-breath and out-breath is calm and quiet, or it is also agitated? How do you feel?
It depends on the time. Sometimes it's not clear, the in-breath and out-breath. Sometimes it's clear.
So, whenever imagine a time, it goes out, wandering thoughts, come back, and you are reporting, breath is calm and quiet. That means even going out, your mainstream is not disturbed. And there is no distraction, no discontinuation of the mindfulness also. If you carefully analyze, there's a kind of a mindfulness to say you are not at home. And you are sure where to go. And the coming back is automatically. Whenever you come back, you verify and say, breath is calm and quiet. You see, these are the human qualities we are not exploring into. And also as we are sitting, I can't meditate because my mind is wandering. I can't meditate because of sounds. I can't meditate because of pain. But these are the golden opportunity for you to see. Let the mind find a way back home and discreetly, thin slicing of time, give more detail of the way back home. It is called more frames for 1 second, or thin slicing of time. From the wandering thought, in your case, how it come back and landed in the primary object, and see the connection with or verification of the primary object, the best way for you to develop the radical reflection, kind of a novelty. Then you will never complain about anything on the earth, because everything is a blessing in disguise. Once you learn the mindfulness specifically in the Vipassana way. Do you get the point?
Yeah.
Can you explain with your words?
When you're mindfully doing breathing in and out, when the mind wanders, when it comes back, know that you're mindful. Know that you're mindful, and you didn't lose it.
Give me as detailed as possible on the way back home. So ever refining you. Language, communication, meditation, vipassana, everything is getting sharpened. So you will never complain about going out. Without going out, you can't have this bloody event. So each mishap is a blessing in disguise. You are let the mishap to happen. You just take account of way back home.
Yeah, so when I realize that mind has wandered, I quickly bring back to the object. I'm not sure how to explain it properly.
It has happened, but I'm asking, give more detail, accounts. How come from the wandering mind to the mindfulness?
Shall I tell another experience I have had in sitting meditation? So while breathing in and out, I saw like past events. It has a picture, like I see it as a movie, and when I look at it, I see it has a past event, and then I see the picture just goes away, and then it's blank and empty, and I come back to the breathing in and out. It appears as a image all the time. I noticed that one.
So it can be a mental image, or it can be a visual, the object, sound, whatever may be.
Yeah.
Now we are talking about the sitting meditation, closed eyes. But that can happen even when you are traveling. Whatever you do, so there's a way back home. The way back home, you do without the instructions of the Buddha, without the instruction of Dhammajiva also. You do yourself. And that knowledge, no one can rob. No one can take out of from you. So this is, you are learning in trouble. What it made, misleaded situation, you know the way back home. As far as you know the way back home, nothing to worry. You are a good girl guide, you are a good boy scout, or a soldier. In soldiers we teach the night compass march. You go and put into the unknown area and give a compass and say find the direction back home or back to the camp. Something like this is the Buddha is giving us this thing, and the compass is the mindfulness. If you are mindful, you are always on the way back home. Therefore there's a sentence saying, wherever you may be, please mind you are on the way back home. Everyone one day become enlightened. We are on the way back home. This is the short episode, but the macro also the same. So shall we go to the next?
Thank you.
The next question is on sitting, that is the rising and falling. It also includes a section on walking and a section on day-to-day activities. Theruvan Saranai, Most Venerable Bhante. My primary object is sitting Sorry, let me start again. My primary object in sitting is rising and falling, and normally can observe from the beginning to end and observing the manner of rising and falling, and sometimes tension and hardness, sometimes feel noting happens unintentionally, especially when observing the manner. Thinking becomes sometimes as images, normally disappears as soon as noted, and time to time movements in body, head, hands and legs, and vibration kind of feeling. Used to note whenever these happened and then go back to primary object. Walking. In walking, doing left and right, lifting, placing and lifting, moving and placing, was observing the movement of foot. There's a word I can't read. Experiences are, it's not straight line, but like zigzag movement happens in minor steps. Few experiences are, it's not straight line, but like zigzag movement happens in minor steps. And also was experiencing tension, vibration, and how it changes while walking, and sometimes heat, especially in the midsole area, and touching when feet touches the carpet or sand. There too, thinking happens, and used to note whenever, sometimes felt noting as thinking happens unintentionally. As soon as note, setting disappeared. Sometimes while focusing on walking, thinking happens from deep inside as repetitive words or few words. This even continues for 10 to 15 steps. In such situations, used to note walking, but was clearly aware on the thinking, its appearance and disappearance. In eating and drinking, especially in the morning, was observing vibrations kind of feeling happens and moves across the body, and shivering of hands and lips. Saranai.
This is rather talking about the manners. The mind is learning not only the shape, but it says the manners. It is not a straight line, it is zigzag, and sometimes waves like, sometimes vibrations like. So that means details. Now go into detail, the sap. So observe the object more vigilantly and more diligently, then the mind and the object will be more closer. Then thing will start automatically also. Now this is also good, but try to explain the different manners, unexpected kind of manners. So that means mind is opening, mind is widening. Just facilitate it, continue the same train. Last question.
Yes, Venerable Sir. Eating mindfully, day-to-day activity.
Another question?
That's correct.
Yeah.
This is the last question. Venerable Bhante, in all our actions, they are multitasked. For example, while eating, we chew from mouth and prepare the next bite from hand. In this situation, we know that we are chewing and preparing the next bite. So, is chewing on autopilot mode? Because we know that we are doing two things at the same time. Thank you, with metta.
No, this is not we are doing, that is what you call the body knowledge. The body knows. Don't take responsibilities. It says that if you withdraw yourself, body would do completely, exactly necessary thing. If the bloody human beings are not on the earth, each and every animal will live happily. Each and every tree will grow without any disturbances. Each and every river will flow without bloody dams. Human beings. Our body is the whole life, whole universe. It knows what to do without your beautification. The beautifying people, they don't know, after beautification they appear ugly. After spending so much. So therefore just let go. Don't claim multitasking because still you are going to take marks. No. Body is growing. Each and every time your nails are growing. Each and every time your hairs are growing. Teeth, everything. Are you going to take the responsibility about that? So just observe it. Then you can understand the humanity. That is the human world. That is the human body. That is called the body knowledge. We never allow body to grow. Body to go. So when you are meditating, imagine you are completely sitting and meditating. You don't know your object. That's the time body is completely perfect. And it is healing. And you call it as Parkinson. You call it dementia. Anything you know is bullshit. When everything goes by its own accord, the world is more greener, it's happening in the nice harmony, and that is exactly we have to do to the rest of the world. Let them run and say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Everything, everyone knows what to do. And I think that the Nissarana will not run without Dhammajiva. What nonsense. It must run, it is running. So likewise, the best joke, when you people are here, your family members are very happy. These all bloody crocs, not at home. So they can do whatever they like. So they are so worrying about when the day you go back home. They ask, why Bhante, you can't organize 20 days retreat? You always, what you do is poking fingers into the other activities, and you say, I am doing a multitasking. So much of poking fingers. So let the body to run, it knows. And whether you are rearing the cows or not, it will come and graze. Whether you are rearing the chicken or not, they know how to pick and wait. So people, human being called, is a human world. And the cockroach, if the cockroach is going to write the history, it will say it's a cockroach world. You see, everything happening go to the cockroach wish. So like as we have our viewpoint, that make ourselves mad, and not only that, we are shouting and talking about our viewpoint, thinking everyone should accept what I think. So instead, let the world run, accept anything, and see, it is not multitasking. Body knows, it's called the body knowledge. And becoming a human is such a opportunity. That's called Dullabho Manusatta Patilabho. But thing is, we never allow the humanity to come. When you are utterly silent, you are utterly human. But the Buddha, while talking, walking, still human. You see, never disturb other psychologies. Just free flow. So it's not a science, it's an art. It's art letting go. That you can't do it unless otherwise you learn to certain amount of mindfulness and get a distance observation and choiceless awareness. And that must be your second nature. Then things will run. Okay?
Yes, Venerable Sir.
Hope there are no any other statements or questions or kind of thing. You have? Raise the hand up there. Okay. Tap the mic. Yes.
Yes. When focusing on the breath, I find it very difficult, and once in a way when I focus without too much of effort, I see the in-breath and out-breath both as if it's merged together. I can't identify one from the other, and it doesn't last for too long, and I find I can't go beyond that. I'm just stuck there.
So you are worrying about the breath?
Yes, Bhante.
Can you be aware that I am sitting?
Yes.
Take this as your primary object. The day you go for 1 hour complete knowing you are sitting, you are Arahant. If it is impossible, only you need other objects. So if you be here, I am sitting, and you can be aware that you are sitting. And within the sitting, forced breathing or natural breathing can happen. Within the sitting, rising and falling can happen. Hearing can, never mind. As far as you know you are sitting, not even continuously, if you are improving it, if you are familiarizing it, every other thing will come. So therefore don't try with the breath or forced breathing. And whenever you try to do something, everything is disturbed. It says, yena hi manyanti tato tang hoti anyata. Whenever you going to pay attention to something, that thing starts a special vibration. Anything. So therefore, give the attention completely, totally equal, if possible, nothing special, then you are not disturbing something. That is called the choiceless awareness. Or some people call it evenly suspended attention and suspended decision. You see, everything is happening. Nothing to worry that you see the breath or not see in the breath. So that has been, I think we have been discussing it again and again. So therefore take a step backward. Take to the sitting posture as your walking stick or your best friend. Develop the acquaintance, develop the familiarity, and as far as it is there, be contented. And then if the breath is your the best friend, it will come.
Thank you. Thero.
Okay, we have about 40 to 45 minutes for walking meditation. So after that, we will be coming here for another sitting session at 3 o'clock. With that announcement, we mark the end of our question and answer session. Thank you very much for the participation.